Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Smackdown. I'm Brian, and once again, joined by a guy who left this guy named CM Punk and became Solo Sokoa's friend. Solo Sokoa is his new friend, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
I love you solo.
We got a new friendship
We got a
formed
new friendship,
between.
and we also have a new suspected return that I would like to discuss. I guess that's more for Raw, but um
We're talking about Goldberg.
I am not talking about Goldberg. I'm talking about our friend that we talked about in the last episode, Ludwig Kaiser,
Oh,
because
I thought you were gonna.
I
I thought you
appointed.
were gonna mention it on Raw, but
I
all
am going to
right.
mention it on Raw, but I think he is back. He is back, and you don't believe me, but I will be proven right eventually.
Okay. I am I'm skeptical for now, but you know what? I will give you 2 points if it's Ludwig.
Nice.
2 points. All right. Because we're handing out points now, I guess. But anyway, this is the SmackDown after Saudi Arabia, I think. Yes. Yes. This is this is that, but not only that, but it is also the 4th of July episode, and apparently it's been recorded, and by now you should have the results of what happens on the show. So, what is the reason behind doing this show, you might ask? Well, because we are dumb and we don't know how the internet works, we're going to try to predict the next week's show anyway, or I should say the 4th of July episode anyway, and see how we can book this thing. And maybe if our booking is better than Road Dogg or Triple H or whoever puts together SmackDown, then, you'd be happier for it, I guess. So, anyway, let's take a look at the rules. As we stated previously, you know the rules. We kind of know the rules. So the rules are here, and we are going to keep them consistent. Although recently they haven't been doing the whole Raw people stay on Raw, SmackDown people stay on SmackDown for whatever reason. So I guess disregard the first rule. I don't know. But the rest is the same. And for the scoring, of course, how the scoring works is that after we lock in our bookings and predictions, we watch the next episode of SmackDown, blah blah blah, and then we score our predictions based on this. Not gonna go over it that much. There you go for your perusal. Let's take a look at the points from last week, which are as follows. I think I got 5 points from the last week's episode, which is probably due to the fact that I had Cody and Randy and I had Julia winning. I got a couple predictions right, but overall, not a great week for me. And Mike, I think you got 6 points. And I don't know, anything you want to say about last week's show, which emanated
I
from.
I did I did get 6 points, mainly from the Jimmy Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso, which ended up being a singles fight instead of a tag team match, and I also got Naomi interfering in Tiffany's match as well. Um,
Splendid.
yes, I also said Cena and CM Punk coming out, but I didn't think that CM Punk would come out and uh, rip off Cena's gimmick. But there we are. That was great, by the way. I love that segment.
I thought I thought it was a little cringy, but whatever. It was cheesy for sure, but I guess it's part of it is because when you head into a rap battle, you can't really stutter or you can't really just leave them hanging there, right? You gotta go full force, all gas no brakes, as I almost said solo, as Jacob says, but it was fine, yeah, I suppose. But we are going to predict the next episode, the one right after that, and I don't think anything was announced on the show. which is why I had it blank. And again, you have, and by you, of course, I mean the audience, you guys watching the video, you guys know what is announced on the show because, you should have the results right now. So feel free to compare your thing to whatever we have, and you can score for us based on what you have right there on your hand. But let's get down to business and book this stuff. Starting off with my version of the show, Cody Rhodes coming down to the ring and talks about his match with Randy Orton and the King of the Ring win. He won the match in Saudi Arabia. He survived Saudi Arabia. Maybe drank some libations, or I should say, took some libations, whatever. And he is now in the United States, and he won King of the Ring. Having defeated Randy Orton is not that simple, but Randy Orton is a great competitor. He's great, blah 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 blah. And you know, we were both respectful. We're still friends, and there's certainly not gonna be any sort of conflict that's coming up real soon. And then we have Randy Orton come out, and he talks about Cody's speech. That was a good speech, and Cody winning King of the Ring was great and all. And even after that match, which was competitive and all that, still sees him as a friend. And you know, we had a good match, and we're still friends. So why don't we shake on it? And I'll celebrate with you, Cody. I'll celebrate your win. They show, they show, they show their hands to each other, and they shake their hands. And the camera is gonna zoom in on Cody's face first of all, and Cody's like, he's happy that he's still friends with Randy, and they're still friendship. And then the camera goes to Randy, and Randy smiles at first, but then changes to that sort of same look that you saw at Night of Champions when Cody does his speech, and Randy Orton kind of has that, I don't know, maddening look on his face, kind of villainous. So I kind of suspect a heel turn coming from Randy in a couple of weeks. But anyway, after they shake hands, we're gonna have Drew McIntyre show up. Because why the hell not? Listen, I was looking through the men's roster and I was like, who would be relevant to this segment? Oh yeah, Drew. Drew shows up, talks about, I don't know, nepo babies, and Cody and Randy are nepo babies. And he talks about their match at King of the Ring. Nothing like two nepo babies sharing a match when it should be me, the future of this company, who should be involved in the King of the Ring tournament. And he sort of runs down both of them. Cody gets agitated. He wants to defend the honor of Randy Orton and himself. And he says, you know what? I want a match with you tonight. And Drew doesn't accept, but later on it does get accepted. And that will be the main event of the show. And that is that. And I'll talk more about this on the main event as we move on to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte versus BFAB and Michin. And this sort of feeds into the whole women's tag team situation. And we're going to have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte win by pinfall. And I'm assuming they're going to be the SmackDown women's tag team that's going to be selected for that match at Evolution 2 for the women's tag team championships. And yeah, I think I'm going to have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte be this sort of reluctant tag team where they're kind of enemies, but they kind of have to be together for the sake of winning a championship. And I think this is fine for Charlotte because I do not want her near the women's championship whatsoever. So I guess the consolation prize of women's tag team champion is good enough. Good enough for me. So we move on from that to DIY versus Fraxium in a number one contendership match for the tag team championship, and I'm gonna have this be a little tournament. This will be sort of the semifinals, and we're gonna have Fraxium win by pinfall because I don't know, man. The DIY is old news. All right, we gotta push Fraxium, and we're gonna have Fraxium win and move on to challenge the winner of the other semifinal match, and we're gonna have them go at it at SummerSlam for the tag team championships. As we move on from that to Solo Sikoa, the brand new US champion. He goes in, he goes in, he goes to the ring and talks about the US championship win that he had at not King of the Ring, Clash of Champions or Night of Champions. God, I'm mixing up these PLE names already. And he introduces the brand new member to the group. I'm gonna guess his name is DJ. Oh, DJ O'Leary. I gave him an Irish name. Wonderful. But he introduces the new member of the group.
Know his actual name? Do you want to know his actual name?
Did they
Or
announce it
his, his,
already?
his listed name? His listed name, as listed on
Yeah.
the roster, is Talatonga. It's
What?
literally the same thing as Tamatonga, except they went one letter up in the alphabet.
Oh
Which
my
would name this
god.
guy? It's like he pulled up last minute and they were like, "Hey, we got this new guy. We're gonna bring in. We need a name for him. What should we name him? Ah, shit. Talatonga. There we go.
Bro, you know what that means? That means Tangaloa is by himself. He has no he has no name to go off of. And
Is he
Solo
even?
is just
I don't
Solo.
even know if he's back in the bloodline, but yeah.
I think he is. And Tangaloa is part of Solo's gang for now. But I heard someone say this, or I saw someone text this on some chat or whatever. He said that Solo's group is the most auralist group he has ever seen. Like, name a faction with less aura than Solo's bloodline. And I'm like, okay, but I think Solo is still a decent leader. Like, he can be funny, he can be serious. Like, I think Solo is kind of underrated at this point. So I don't mind
I
Solo.
do.
I think it's yeah.
It's literally him with a faction of jobbers that are here to fill out a roster for a War Games match.
Yeah, pretty much. But
It's
we're
like
gonna
every pay-per-view that Solo Sikoa has a fight, it gets to a point where he might lose, and then it goes like, "Wait, who's that? Oh my god, it's Bingo Bongo, his fifth
Bingo
cousin."
bongo. Yeah.
I'm like, man, how many like towns in American Samoa are you gonna pull from until you start running out of people?
That's when they go the JC Mateo route and go for the Italian names. We'll just swap the
He's
letters.
vaguely related.
Kinda. Yeah. We'll give him a European last name, and then we'll pick some two random letters for the first name. And there you go. There's your new member. But yeah, he's gonna introduce a new member, and then we're gonna have Jimmy Uso come out, and he is going to challenge Solo Sikoa to a US championship match. That's right. I'm gonna have him challenge Solo to a US championship match. And he gets laid out by JC Mateo and the new member. And Solo's just laughs at Jimmy. And maybe we'll have a backstage segment where Jimmy is talking with Jacob, and he goes he goes, "Well, I did my best, but I got beat up." And Jacob says, "Maybe it's because you don't go in when you fit in." and I got all grass, no brakes. If you know what I mean. I don't know, something like that. But yeah.
Is his car broken? Is that why he has all grass, no brakes? Is he off the road?
I guess so.
It's him describing a car crash. I got all grass, no brakes.
He's gotta go to AutoZone to fix his problem.
He's got
I
to
could
get
say.
in, get in the zone where he fits in. You know.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, we're gonna have
He
that.
would actually have a really good AutoZone sponsorship.
Jacob?
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah. You can just go all gas, no brakes, and he's sort of like spazzing around while he's like putting the spanner on the tire or something. I don't know. He just like spazzes out when he tries to change the oil. I don't know. Something like that. But that is what I have for Soul Sikoa. And we move on from that to Aleister Black versus R-Truth, because I guess R-Truth got into Aleister Black's business and Aleister Black did the same. So now we have this match. And we're gonna have, and this might seem weird. I'm gonna have it end in a DQ because I don't want Aleister Black to lose. I don't want that to happen. I also don't want R-Truth to lose. So I'm gonna have it end in a DQ. Why? Because, and by the way, DQ because R-Truth gets a chair. He says that, I don't think I can beat Aleister Black by myself. I'm gonna get a chair, do some more damage into him, and he's gonna get a chair to hit Aleister Black in the back, which causes a DQ. And we're gonna have that happen because I'm predicting that they are gonna have a SummerSlam match. And John Cena and Cody will have their match because Cody won King of the Ring. That is his consolation prize. And this feud is gonna go to SummerSlam. I'm gonna have it stretch out. And we're gonna go from that to a Jade Cargill promo. Yay. She comes out, talks about the Queen of the Ring win. She's the strongest woman in the roster, whatever. She's gonna go after Tiffany. She wants Tiffany to come out, and she does. And Tiffany says that Jade may be the best woman, but it's Tiffy time still. And no matter what Jade does, Tiffy will always have her championship. And Jade says, okay, you and I are going to have a match at some point at SummerSlam. And you know what? May the best woman win. Let's see who the better woman is between us. And Tiffany, I have it here on my notes. Tiffany says bet. Okay. Tiffany says bet. And and then we have Naomi and the Money in the Bank briefcase that she's holding. We're going to have it show up as a tease, you know? Naomi comes out, says something like, I suggest you proceed with caution. And yeah, that's that. That is
You
that
see
segment.
You
Yeah.
see that Tiffany got in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, what happened?
Uh, so I guess like some person like heckled at her on the ramp, like as you do.
Yeah.
And she called him boy, and people thought that was racist.
What?
I was like, well,
What?
yeah, well, if you're from like the South, they use boy a lot.
Yeah.
You know, to be like,
But
it's
even
like
still, I
don't
wouldn't.
stand there while your man's talking to you, boy. Like they say that a lot. You
Yeah,
know,
but I wouldn't. Even then, I wouldn't consider that offensive.
it's like up here we say man or dude, like
Yeah.
man or guy a lot. You know,
I don't know.
like
I just
it's just
yeah.
kind of a like a nomenclature that we use to designate someone. You
I
know,
thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say something like Tiffany
a
Stratton
bro.
slapped a fan or something.
I'm pretty sure they would enjoy it. You know.
Yeah, yes. Booker T specifically. But anyway. Anyway, yes, that is what I have for Jade Cargill. And we're gonna move on from that to the main event, which is Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. And we're gonna have Drew McIntyre win because we're gonna plant the seeds for the Randy Orton heel turn. We're gonna have Randy Orton come out to intervene in the match, but his distraction causes Drew McIntyre to roll up Cody, and Cody wins the or loses the match to Drew McIntyre. And then after the match, Drew McIntyre is gonna get out and laugh as Randy argues with Cody, and it starts a little friendly argument, I guess, but then they start to push each other, and that's when we're gonna have that little argument, and we're gonna plant those seeds for the eventual Randy Orton heel turn, and that is how I booked the show. Any questions with that?
So, all right. So you're gonna have Cody actually lose on a Raw, or sorry, on a SmackDown episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he is the candidate. My rule is that champions, whoever's the champion, should not lose because you're portraying the champion as the sort of best of the best, right? There are
Yeah,
only
but Cody
certain
just won King of
cases.
the Ring though.
Yeah, but
He's
that
like
that
he's
only
like the
means
pseudo champion, the shadow champion.
pseudo. I mean, he can still take a loss. He's Cody Rhodes. He's
I
gonna
mean,
have
I know that. Yes, I know he could take a loss, but you
he's
think
gonna
Triple H
have
thinks that?
he's gonna have adversity. But yeah,
I
no.
saw a graphic today that someone posted that all of Io Sky's championship defenses have all come from at least Rhea Ripley. Like there
Oh,
was one three-way I think she had
Bianca.
with Bianca, yeah, but like every other title defense she's had has been with Rhea,
I think they're
which
trying
I
to
guess
tell us
makes
something.
sense because I guess makes sense because they're the only two like big women on Raws besides Bianca, who is at this point part time. But um, I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, wow, I never knew that. I didn't notice that. So,
and they're gonna go at it again.
yep.
God, I love being predictable. But yeah.
Okay,
Anyway, all right. If no
my
other
card.
questions, we'll move on. All right. Cool. Moving on to your
So,
card.
my card starts off with a Cody Rhodes promo about winning King of the Ring. Says he's going to go after Cena. He's going to save wrestling. And then he also puts over Randy Orton. Randy comes out to congratulate him. Randy's like, "Hey, man, good job. You're the better man. You won." Then Drew McIntyre comes back. It's been rumored he's going to come back. Drew McIntyre comes back. Drew McIntyre comes out from the stage and he says, "I've been here too long to watch these two old geezers," even though Cody really isn't even that old compared to Randy Orton, um, to get opportunities, and he wants an opportunity. He wants a title shot. He gets up. Randy gets in his face. Mizgit tells him to know his place. Um, and Randy, and then they don't really get into a brawl, but they kind of get into a scuffle, a little pushing match. This eventually leads to a Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre fight booked for Saturday night's main event. I don't think they do it tonight on SmackDown. I think they do it at Saturday night's main event. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it! Before we move on, I just want to point out with the old geezer comment. I saw a post where someone tallied up the ages of all people in the main event scene in the WWE this year with those from 2000, and holy crap, the gap is amazing. I think it was like, so this person compared the ages of like 10 main event talent in 2000, and averaged them. And I think it came around to like 28.5 or 31.5.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the age of people, or I should say the average age of main eventers in WWE this year is like 38.5. I was
Damn.
like, what?
I mean,
That's crazy.
sports medicine has come a long way since 2000, so I'm not entirely surprised. But it does says a lot when people are complaining that they're not pushing LA Knight, who is, by the way, 40 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why aren't you pushing young talent like LA Knight? Bro is 40 years old, man. He's not young.
Push my old geezer, Trips. Push my
I,
old
I guess
geezer.
I guess like young in wrestling nowadays is probably anywhere from like 20 to like mid 30s. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe even to late 30s, and then old is like 40 to 50. Yeah.
I think it's also like they have this mentality that because they're 20, they still got a lot of life left. So
Yeah, so
why
they
not
can let
just put
them,
them in the mid card or lower
yeah,
card for the time
they
being?
can, they can mire in the mid guard for a while. They got
Yeah.
time. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
true,
they got
true.
time.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
So next is
discuss
a
something.
women's tag team match. On Raw, there was an announcement by Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, who booked a a three-way. No, is it a four-way or a three-way? Because they said it was the champions against a Raw team, a SmackDown team, and an NXT team. Which, if that NXT team ends up being Zaruka, I am going to be so. I'm going to be so
Validated.
happy that yes, I was validated. My booking decision was validated.
Booker T heard
Anyway,
your letters.
he watched the show and he was
He
like,
watched
"That's
the
a
show.
good idea. It's a
Yeah.
great idea." Um,
He's like, oh
I
yeah.
don't even watch them. I just they were the first women's NXT team that I found, and I was like, okay, cool. Insert. Um, but this is a for the SmackDown representatives in that tag team fight, and it's Meechin and BFAB versus the Secret Hervis versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair have been teasing a tag team match for a while, and this is where it starts. I think they win via pinfall. Meechin and BFAB are here to just take the pin. Um, and they go on to Evolution to fight the other two tag teams.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's straightforward. We're gonna move on from that too.
After that, we have a Tiffany Stratton promo. She puts over Evolution, basically telling people to go watch it because it's a historic event for women and women's wrestling. As Tiffany is also a historic women's wrestler because she won Money in the Bank and then became one of the youngest champions of all time. Yada yada. Bianca comes out, and Bianca says that she is entering the battle royale. Why do I have Bianca coming out? Because we don't care about who shows up on what show now. Um,
He's entering the Mae Young Memorial Battle Royal. Yeah,
yes, the Mae
continue.
Young Memorial Battle Royale. Naomi comes out after this, and she she attacks Tiffany, and it looks like she's going to cash in, but she is beaten off by Bianca, and this furthers
Oh,
their feud
and
and
not Naya.
continues. Not Naya, no.
Okay.
I don't have Jade coming out here because I totally forgot that she tweeted the ring. I really should have that be Jade, but it wouldn't make any sense anyway. I'm probably wrong on that because Jade definitely is going to come out, but whatever.
Who knows? Maybe
Anyway,
Jade might come out
take a week
and
off.
she takes a week off. That's her other prize for winning Queen of the Ring.
She gets a week
They're
off.
like,
So yeah.
yeah, week off. Take a vacation. But
Okay.
yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. Interesting. We're gonna move on from that too.
I have Aleister Black versus Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix is here to take the pin. This ends up being a no contest because Ron Killings again interferes on Aleister Black's business. He comes into the ring, attacks Aleister Black. Aleister ends up laying out Ron Killings again. And Ron, after this, demands, or actually, sorry, Aleister Black is laid out by Ron Killings with a chair or some other device. And Ron demands another match against John Cena. But it's probably not going to happen. And he'll end up fighting Aleister Black.
Yeah. At Saturday night's main event, maybe, or SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam,
whatever.
probably. Yeah, SummerSlam, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. It's not great to see Ray Phoenix taking the pin, but whatever. he's not Penta level.
Well, it's a
popularity.
no contest, so he doesn't take the pin.
Oh,
It's
right,
just
right, right.
like
Sorry,
a DQ,
sorry.
maybe even a DQ, but
Yeah.
yeah.
As soon as
So-
I yeah. All right. Well, we'll just move on. That too.
Solo, everybody's favorite guy. Solo comes out, brags about winning the title. Says that
tickets.
Jacob Fatu that he made. Yep, he bought tickets to the show. He's got a Yeet shirt. He's got a Yeet shirt. He bought tickets. He got a ticket for himself. He got a ticket for that guy behind him. He says that he made Jacob Fatu. He brought Jacob Fatu into this business, but Fatu left because he was all gas and no brains, and he thought he could do it on his own. But this is what happens when you go against the bloodline. And he introduces
You forgot the name already. And that's
Was
how
it
memorable.
Walatoa? He introduces Talatama Tonga Tommaso Tonga.
Tommaso Ciampa.
He introduces
that could be an R-Truth
Tonga.
joke. Our truth just goes over. He's like, wait a minute, that's Tommaso Ciampa.
That's
You ain't
Tommaso
fooling me.
Tonga.
Tommaso
Tonga. I think so. Basically, he just introduces him. It's a brand new bloodline, and he walks away because this is the cycle. So this will start another cycle where they get into a feud. Solo gets into a title fight. He almost loses, and then at SummerSlam we have another bloodline member introduced, Bingo Bongo.
Yep.
From the island of irrelevancy, who comes out to help Solo Sikoa, and he becomes another member of the lower card.
And yet again, we see Michael Cole exasperated. He's like, "Who is this guy? He's the guy who is the cousin of his brother's cousin.
He's Shango Congo."
Somebody get security out here." All right, makes sense. So, do you think they're gonna go for Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa again for the U.S. Championship, or?
Yeah, most likely I think they do. I think Solo retains and Fatu goes away for a little bit. And I think there's a couple other guys they want to get into the US title scene. I think Aleister Black is one of them. I think hopefully they end up getting Carmelo Hayes into that scene. Maybe Jimmy Uso, like you said. But I think that's the scene going forward. My opinion.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I do think the US title has the potential to be mixed in terms of like the guys there. It's gonna be a good mix. And yeah, I think Solo just owning that division for a bit, I think makes sense for a while, I guess. And Jacob Fatu could be moved up to, oh god, maybe John Cena. I don't know. I don't know where Jacob goes, but
I think Jacob possibly goes to Raw to try for the heavyweight title.
Oh, from Gunther. Okay.
From Gunther, or he goes for the IC title.
Or Goldberg. But okay. Interesting. I would like to see Solo on Raw, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But okay. Well, let's move on from Solo.
We have a woman's title defense between Julia and Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, the Secret Service, being battered earlier in their fight against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, are a little beaten up. So Julia has easier time defeating Chelsea Green in this match. Julia wins via pinfall and starts her defense of the U.S. title on the right foot.
Oh, this is not a title match, correct?
It's a title match.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Okay, because it says on you send me your notes and it wasn't a title match on my on what I see here, but okay. All
Oh
right,
wait, no,
it's a
you're
title
right. I'm
match, I
sorry.
guess.
It is not a title match. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yes, no, it's not. Yeah, I'm
All right.
sorry. It's just a regular fight between Julia and Chelsea Green.
I was gonna say if it's a title match, that's fine, but okay.
No, I don't think they have her defend it just yet. I think Chelsea doesn't get a title fight, but she does get to fight Julia because she hasn't shown up for a couple of weeks. So Nick Aldis doesn't let her get a title fight. So
I mean, everyone hasn't shown a couple of weeks. That's why they keep pushing the same guy. But yeah, okay. And then from that, we go on to
the
main
the
event.
main event is a tag team turmoil match for the tag team titles. Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY versus Fraxium versus the Wyatt Six. This is not what happened the previous week, where the rest of the tag team division came out to actually help the Street Profits win. This is a full tag team turmoil where every team has a shot at winning the titles. And I think the Wyatt Six actually win this title because why else are they here? Thanks to interference from Uncle Howdy, maybe Rowan, and possibly Nikki Cross helping out to secure them the victory. And that starts their reign as the tag team champions.
So I just wanna say for the record, SmackDown starting from the July 4th episode is gonna be 2 hours long. And Tag
Yes.
Team Turmoil. Okay, so is this one of those matches where you have one tag team start against another tag team, and then after a team wins by pinfall or submission or whatever, you have another tag team come on, or is this like all the tag teams in the ring?
This is all of them in at once. I know it's
Oh,
2 hours, which is why I didn't book um that many matches. Plus I had two singles matches. I had Julia versus Chelsea Green and Aleister Black versus Ray Phoenix. One of them being a no contest. So I think they'll have time for this. Might go a little bit over 2 hours, but I think they'll have time for the turmoil.
nothing like spending the 4th of July watching a tag team that's fit for Halloween win the tag team championships. It's an out of season victory, I suppose. And then, okay, so once you get Wyatt Six, the tag team championships, who do you think would be next in terms of the challenge? Like, which tag team? By the way, this is all tag teams besides Pretty Deadly, but who cares about Pretty Deadly? But who is next after the Wyatt Six? Like, who would you put as your first team?
Probably Fraxium. Fraxium or Motor City Machine Guns, yeah.
Okay, not bad, not bad picks. I would say I'm leaning more towards Fraxium for sure, but hey, man, Motor City Machine Guns, I would not be that mad or sad about it.
I think one of these teams needs to go over to Raw because that division needs an injection of talent.
You don't say.
You don't say after Finn Balor and JD McDonough won the titles. No, yeah, I think DIY needs to go over there. Probably DIY would fit well on Raw.
You just want to see Tommaso Ciampa on Netflix. I see. I
I
see the
do.
demand. You and 10 other people. But all right. Well, I think I think this is interesting. I'm kind of interested to see the triple threat match booked for Saturday night's main event between Randy, Cody, and said McIntyre, right? And
No, it was just McIntyre and Randy, not Cody.
oh, okay, so it's Randy and okay, I see. All
It's
right.
Randy and McIntyre. Yeah.
Okay, I was confused by the notes here. Okay, yeah. All right. Nevertheless, I suppose that is about it for what we booked. And as stated before, we are gonna go see the next episode of Friday Night Smackdown, the July 4th episode. And hopefully you guys spend your 4th of July very well. Hope you guys enjoyed the show that WWE will bring to you on the 4th of July. And hope you are spending it with some American things. Even if you're not an American, maybe spend it with some medium rare steaks, some hot dogs, some good old American spirit,
Some
and
some real American beer or
real
American
American
vodka
beer.
or Wheatley American vodka.
Wheatley, yeah, Wheatley. Wheatley is so good they drink it neatly. Call us for a sponsorship. But anyway, until then, thank you so much for ordering a blue cheese pizza called probably next week on SmackDown at Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourselves some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos.